No one saw this coming, and now the internet cannot look away. What started as a quiet whisper behind the scenes has exploded into one of the most shocking reality TV scandals fans have ever witnessed. Because somehow, against all expectations, a hidden connection between Mendeecees and Chrissy Lampkin is now being dragged into the spotlight, and the so-called proof has people questioning everything they thought they knew. Sources close to the situation claim this is not just a coincidence or a misunderstanding. They are calling it calculated, secretive, and deeply personal. And once the alleged receipts started circulating, fans were left stunned, trying to piece together a timeline that suddenly feels full of gaps, hidden meetings, and suspicious overlaps. The deeper you look, the more unsettling it becomes. One insider reportedly said, "This didn't just happen overnight. This has been building for a long time, and people around them knew something wasn't right." And now, with messages, photos, and whispered testimonies surfacing, the tension is impossible to ignore. Emotions are running high, loyalties are being tested, and the fallout is already beginning to fracture relationships that once seemed unbreakable. Fans are shocked, friends are choosing sides, and the family is already being pulled into a storm they never asked for. Because if even half of these claims turn out to be true, this is not just drama, it is betrayal on a level that could change everything. And just when you think you understand what is going on, another twist emerges, making the story even more explosive than before. The moment those screenshots started circulating, everything changed. What people first dismissed as gossip quickly turned into something far more intense. The alleged messages between Mendeecees and Chrissy Lampkin did not just hint at a casual interaction. They painted a picture that felt secretive, layered, and deeply personal. Fans were shocked, and you could feel the tension building across social media as every new detail added more fuel to the fire. It started with a late-night conversation that one insider claimed happened at a private gathering. The room was dim, the energy was calm at first, but according to witnesses, something shifted the moment Chrissy walked in. He noticed her immediately, one source said quietly, as if even recalling it carried weight. And it wasn't just a friendly glance. It was something more. At first, people brushed it off. After all, both of them have been in the same circles for years. But then the timeline started getting messy. Someone leaked what they claimed were text messages. Short, coded sentences that seemed harmless on the surface, but when placed next to each other, they told a very different story. "You shouldn't have come tonight," one message read. The reply came quickly. "And yet you wanted me here." Emotions ran high as fans began connecting the dots, questioning why these conversations existed at all and what they really meant. Things escalated when another insider revealed that this was not the first time they had crossed paths in private. According to that source, there had been quiet meetings, moments that never made it to cameras, interactions that were carefully kept away from the public eye. It was always subtle, the insider explained. Nothing obvious. But if you were paying attention, you could feel something was off, and that single statement sent shockwaves through the fanbase. Meanwhile, the people closest to them were starting to feel the pressure. Whispers turned into confrontations. One close friend reportedly pulled Mendeecees aside and asked him directly, "What is really going on here?" And for a brief moment, there was silence. The kind of silence that says more than words ever could. He allegedly responded with a calm tone, "You're reading too much into it." But the look on his face, according to witnesses, told a completely different story. On the other side, Chrissy was said to be handling things very differently. Instead of denying everything outright, she reportedly leaned into the mystery. During a small gathering, someone asked her about the rumors, expecting her to shut them down. Instead, she smiled slightly and said, "People believe what they want to believe." That single line only made things worse. Fans were divided instantly. Some defended her, saying she owed no explanation, while others saw it as confirmation that something deeper was being hidden. As the days passed, the situation became impossible to ignore. Reactions poured in from every direction. Some cast members chose to stay silent, clearly trying to avoid getting dragged into the chaos. Others were not so quiet. One voice reportedly spoke up during a heated discussion, saying, "This is not just about rumors anymore. This is about trust." The room fell silent after that, because everyone knew exactly what was being implied. And then came the twist no one expected. A photo surfaced. Blurry, taken from a distance, but clear enough to spark outrage. It showed two figures standing close, engaged in what looked like an intense conversation. The timing of the photo matched perfectly with one of the nights mentioned in the leaked messages. Fans were stunned. "This changes everything," one comment read, echoing the thoughts of thousands who were trying to process what they were seeing. Emotions ran high as speculation turned into full-blown accusations. Was this a harmless friendship that had been taken out of context, or was there something more that had been hidden all along? The uncertainty only made the story more explosive. Every new detail added another layer, another reason for people to question what they thought they knew. Behind the scenes, the pressure was building. Relationships were being tested, and trust was hanging by a thread. One insider described the atmosphere as tense and unpredictable. According to them, conversations that once felt easy were now filled with hesitation. People were choosing their words carefully, aware that anything they said could become the next headline. And just when it seemed like things could not get any more intense, another piece of alleged evidence began to circulate, hinting that this story was far from over and that what had already been revealed might only be the beginning of something even bigger. And that next piece of alleged evidence did not just add fuel to the fire, it completely shifted the narrative. What people thought was a series of questionable interactions suddenly started to look like a pattern. The newly leaked voice note, which quickly spread across fan pages, carried a tone that many described as too familiar to ignore. The voice, believed by many to be Mendeecees Harris, spoke in a low, careful manner, saying, "We need to be more careful. People are starting to notice." The response, allegedly from Chrissy Lampkin, was even more unsettling. "They always notice, but they never really know," she said, followed by a soft laugh that left listeners questioning everything. Fans were shocked. Timelines were being broken down second by second, and suddenly, moments that once seemed ordinary were being re-examined under a completely different lens. People started pulling up old footage, analyzing body language, pauses, glances. "How did we miss this?" one fan wrote, while others insisted that the signs had been there all along, just hidden in plain sight. Behind closed doors, the tension was reaching a breaking point. A source claimed that a private confrontation took place, one that quickly turned into a heated argument. "You said there was nothing going on," a voice reportedly shouted, filled with frustration. "Then explain this." According to that same insider, the room went silent again, but this time it was heavier, more uncomfortable. Mendeecees allegedly tried to stay calm, repeating, "This is being twisted," but the people around him were no longer convinced. On the other side, Chrissy's reaction continued to confuse everyone. Instead of stepping back, she appeared more present, more visible, almost as if she was daring the rumors to grow louder. At one event, when someone whispered about the situation within earshot, she reportedly turned and said, "If you have something to say it louder." That moment alone sparked another wave of debate. Was this confidence, or was it deflection? Emotions ran high as more voices entered the conversation. Some friends began to distance themselves, unwilling to be caught in the middle. Others took sides openly, creating a clear divide that only made the situation worse. "This is bigger than people think," one insider explained. "This is about loyalty, respect, and boundaries." And with every new reaction, the cracks in those relationships became more visible. Then came another unexpected twist. A second photo surfaced, this time clearer, sharper, and far more difficult to dismiss. It showed what appeared to be a late-night meeting, away from cameras, away from crowds. The body language alone was enough to raise eyebrows. They were standing close again, closer than most would consider normal for two people claiming there was nothing between them. Fans were left divided, some defending, others accusing, but no one remained neutral. And just when it seemed like the story had reached its peak, another detail emerged that changed everything yet again. A timeline posted by a dedicated fan account highlighted multiple instances where both of them were in the same location at the same time, despite having no public reason to be there together. The coincidences were too many to ignore. "This can't all be random," one comment read, and that single sentence summed up what everyone was thinking. The family was left divided. Conversations that once revolved around everyday life were now dominated by this one controversy. Trust was being questioned, and silence was becoming more telling than words. One relative reportedly said, "We just want the truth," but the truth seemed further away than ever. And still, neither side offered a clear explanation. Statements were vague, carefully worded, and avoided the core of the issue. This only made things worse, leaving room for speculation to grow even stronger. Fans were not satisfied, and the demand for answers only intensified. As the situation continued to spiral, one thing became clear. This was no longer just a rumor. It had turned into a full-blown scandal, one that was pulling in everyone connected to it and refusing to let go. And just when it seemed like all the pieces were finally on the table, another revelation began to surface, hinting that the story was about to take an even darker and more complicated turn. The dark turn came when a new set of texts allegedly surfaced, revealing conversations that fans describe as explosive and unbelievably personal. The messages hinted at secret plans, emotional confessions, and moments that seemed far too intimate for public knowledge. One line, in particular, made fans pause. "I can't tell anyone, not even my closest friends. They would never understand." The reply was just as dramatic, "Then we just keep it between us forever." The intensity of these words sent social media into overdrive, as fans debated what "forever" really meant and why such secrecy was necessary. Meanwhile, inside sources claimed that the pair's interactions were affecting those around them more than anyone realized. Friends reported noticing tension whenever they were in the same room, subtle glares, whispered conversations, and moments of avoidance that hinted at hidden drama. "It's like everyone is walking on eggshells," one source said, emphasizing the strain these secret connections were putting on their close circle. Family members, too, were reportedly torn, unsure whether to intervene or stay out of what was becoming increasingly complicated. And just as emotions ran high, another shocking twist hit the fanbase. An alleged voicemail left by Mendeecees surfaced, expressing frustration and concern about the rumors spreading. "I'm tired of people twisting what's happening," he reportedly said. "They have no idea what they're talking about, and it's ruining everything." The voicemail painted a picture of someone desperate to protect themselves and those involved, but also someone clearly caught in a web of secrecy that was unraveling faster than expected. On Chrissy's side, the response was equally intense. She was seen meeting privately with mutual acquaintances, reportedly trying to clarify or at least contain the narrative. However, her calm demeanor only fueled speculation. Some interpreted it as a calculated attempt to control the story, while others believed she was simply overwhelmed by the intensity of the accusations. Fans were divided, and debates raged online, with hashtags trending and new theories emerging every hour. The twists kept coming. An anonymous source claimed that old footage, never aired, revealed moments of connection between the two that had previously gone unnoticed. These clips, some said, showed private conversations, long glances, and exchanges that could easily be misinterpreted, or, according to others, interpreted exactly as the scandalous story suggested. Fans pored over every frame, debating what was innocent and what might be evidence of something more. The pressure of the unfolding drama also started affecting their public appearances. Social media followers noticed tension in interviews, slight pauses in conversation, and body language that seemed unusually guarded. Even casual mentions of events led to speculation. "Every word is being analyzed," one insider said, highlighting how the scrutiny was only amplifying the emotional stakes. As the story evolved, friends and family became more vocal, adding layers of accusation and defense. Some publicly defended the two, insisting the story was blown out of proportion, while others hinted at betrayals, unspoken feelings, and secrets that had lingered for years. The mixture of loyalty, rivalry, and hidden resentment created a perfect storm, leaving everyone involved walking a fine line between revelation and damage control. And just when people thought the drama had reached its limit, yet another shocking element appeared. A private dinner, allegedly attended by only a handful of close friends, became a focal point of speculation. Details from sources suggested that emotions ran high, accusations were made, and tears were shed. Someone reportedly shouted, "You can't hide this anymore," while another voice murmured, "We never wanted it to get this far." The emotional intensity, captured in snippets of conversation later leaked online, left fans stunned and craving more answers. The intensity of these leaks created an environment where even casual interactions became potential proof. Every meeting, every glance, every whispered comment was scrutinized, dissected, and debated. Fans debated motives, intentions, and the authenticity of the alleged evidence. The story was no longer just about rumors, it had become a full-blown investigation by the fanbase, each person trying to decipher what was real and what was staged. Through it all, one thing was undeniable: the emotional stakes were enormous. Careers, reputations, friendships, and family ties were all being tested, and the tension was palpable. The connection between Mendeecees and Chrissy Lampkin was no longer a private matter, it was public drama that refused to be ignored. And just when it seemed like the story could not grow any more complicated, a new leak suggested that the next revelation would challenge everything fans thought they knew about loyalty, trust, and betrayal, leaving everyone on the edge of their seats, desperate for what would come next. The situation escalated further when a former associate, who had remained silent for years, decided to speak out. According to this insider, there were moments that nobody had seen before, interactions that suggested the connection between Mendeecees and Chrissy Lampkin was far more complex than anyone imagined. They weren't just friendly, the source claimed. There were nights of secret planning, of conversations that felt too intense to be casual. It was like they had their own world, separate from everyone else. This revelation sent the rumor mill into overdrive, as fans began dissecting every past appearance, every public statement, searching for clues that supported this narrative. Simultaneously, family members reportedly started clashing over the allegations. Some demanded that the truth be told, insisting that secrecy was tearing them apart, while others pleaded for discretion, fearing the public fallout could irreparably harm relationships. One relative was quoted saying, "We have to get ahead of this before it destroys us all," emphasizing just how deep the emotional impact had gone. The family was left divided, torn between protecting their loved ones and confronting what might be an undeniable truth. Fans continued their investigations online, posting videos, screenshots, and side-by-side comparisons of past events. Every glance, every gesture, every social media post was analyzed and debated endlessly. Some claimed to see patterns, coded behavior, or signals that were unmistakable, while others dismissed these claims as overzealous fan theory. The energy online mirrored the chaos behind the scenes, as loyalty and suspicion collided in a dramatic dance that no one could control. Then came a new twist that no one saw coming, a leaked private chat group that allegedly included both parties and several trusted associates. Messages in the group hinted at frustrations, regrets, and warnings. "We can't let this spiral out of control," one message read, while another responded, "People are watching, they always are, but they don't know the half of it." The messages painted a picture of a delicate balancing act, where each word could either contain the story or ignite a firestorm. Fans were riveted, some horrified, some exhilarated, as the complexity of the alleged connection became undeniable. Meanwhile, the tension among friends grew. One close friend reportedly confronted Mendeecees in private, urging him to clarify the situation. The confrontation, according to sources, ended with Mendeecees storming out, leaving the friend shaken. On Chrissy's side, a similar confrontation reportedly took place, where she was asked to address the rumors head-on. Instead of denying them, she allegedly smiled knowingly and said, "Some things are better left unsaid," leaving the group stunned and fueling further speculation. The narrative continued to twist when a series of videos surfaced, showing late-night encounters at multiple locations. Blurred and grainy, they nevertheless suggested that these meetings were not coincidental. The timing, the locations, the repeated patterns, all seemed to point to a relationship that was carefully orchestrated behind the scenes. Fans debated furiously over whether these were innocent interactions or proof of something more clandestine, and the intensity of the speculation only increased as more footage emerged. Emotions ran high across the board. Tensions between cast members, friends, and family members reached new heights. Arguments broke out over whether to protect the individuals involved or expose the truth. Whispers became accusations, and once loyal allies began to question each other's motives. The stress of maintaining appearances, combined with the growing scrutiny, created an environment ripe for conflict, betrayal, and dramatic revelations. And just when it seemed like the story had reached a breaking point, an unexpected claim emerged from a fan who had allegedly witnessed an exchange in a public setting. According to this eyewitness, both Mendeecees Harris and Chrissy Lampkin were engaged in a private conversation that lasted long enough to raise eyebrows. They weren't talking casually, the fan said. Their body language, the way they leaned in, the intensity, it was like something more was happening. This observation quickly spread online, adding yet another layer of intrigue to the saga. Throughout all of this, the question on everyone's mind remained the same: what exactly was happening between them? Each revelation, each leak, each whispered account made the story more complicated, more captivating, and more controversial. The emotional stakes kept escalating, and every person involved, from family to friends to fans, was caught in a web of secrecy, suspicion, and suspense that seemed impossible to escape. And as the scandal continued to unfold, it became clear that this was no ordinary reality TV drama. It was a saga of trust and betrayal, loyalty and secrecy, emotions and consequences. Fans could only watch, analyze, and debate, knowing that the next twist, the next leak, the next revelation could completely change the narrative once again. The tension was palpable, and the story was far from over. Just when it seemed like the situation had reached its peak, a shocking revelation emerged that changed everything yet again. An anonymous source claimed that a series of emails had been exchanged between Mendeecees Harris and Chrissy Lampkin months ago, long before any of the public drama unfolded. These emails, allegedly recovered from a private server, detailed plans, personal thoughts, and references to meetings that were never meant to be public. One line reportedly read, "We need to be careful, this could ruin everything if anyone finds out," while another stated, "Our timing has to be perfect, no mistakes." Fans were left in disbelief, scrambling to understand the context and the implications of these secretive communications. Inside sources reported that the discovery of these emails caused immediate tension among mutual friends. Some friends confronted Mendeecees, questioning why he would risk so much, while others approached Chrissy, asking her to clarify her role. According to those who witnessed the confrontations, voices were raised, accusations were thrown, and tears were shed. Emotions ran high as both parties struggled to navigate the fallout. "It felt like the room was about to explode," one insider said. "Everyone was on edge, waiting for someone to say the wrong thing." The drama didn't stop there. Another leak allegedly revealed a financial component to their connection, showing transactions that raised eyebrows and fueled speculation. Fans began dissecting bank statements, receipts, and shared expenses, theorizing about whether money was exchanged to cover up certain encounters or facilitate private meetings. The fanbase erupted with comments, theories, and heated debates. "This isn't just emotional, it's calculated," one comment read, while another argued, "Maybe it's innocent, but it sure doesn't look that way." The uncertainty kept the audience hooked, unable to look away. Meanwhile, social media became a battleground. Followers, fan accounts, and even casual observers picked sides, some defending Chrissy and Mendeecees, others accusing them of deceit. Hashtags trended, live streams erupted, and videos analyzing body language, leaked texts, and public appearances flooded platforms. Every new post added layers of suspense and intrigue, as if the story itself was expanding beyond control. The tension was palpable, and the drama was only intensifying. The personal toll was clear. Friends described sleepless nights, tense conversations, and moments where emotions spilled over into confrontation. One friend reportedly said, "It's like watching a car crash in slow motion. You can't stop it, and everyone around you is caught in it." Family members also felt the strain, with some choosing to distance themselves to avoid being dragged into the chaos. Others attempted to mediate, only to find that their efforts sometimes made matters worse. And then came another twist that left fans gasping. A private video, allegedly showing a brief interaction between Mendeecees and Chrissy in a secluded setting, surfaced online. The video was grainy but suggested a closeness and familiarity that went beyond friendship. Reactions were instantaneous. Some fans defended them, insisting the footage could be taken out of context, while others were convinced it was proof of a secret connection. The debate raged on, fueling further speculation and keeping the story alive in public discourse. As emotions ran high, the two central figures reportedly began to pull back from public appearances. Interviews became cautious, social media posts more measured, and interactions with other cast members increasingly tense. Sources said that each appearance carried the weight of the scandal, with every word analyzed, every gesture scrutinized, and every glance interpreted as potential evidence. The intensity of the situation made even ordinary moments feel charged with drama. The leaks, videos, and alleged messages continued to surface, each revealing new layers of complexity. Fans pieced together timelines, theorized about motives, and debated the authenticity of evidence. Some insisted the story was spiraling out of control, while others couldn't get enough of the intrigue. Every revelation seemed to open doors to even more questions, making it impossible to predict what would happen next. Friends and associates described growing divisions within their social circles. Loyalties were tested, and some relationships that once seemed unbreakable began to crack under the strain of the controversy. "People are choosing sides, and it's messy," one insider said. "You can feel the tension in the air whenever they're all in the same room." The emotional stakes were higher than ever, and every action, every word, and every decision carried consequences that could ripple far beyond the individuals involved. And just as everyone thought the story could not get any more tangled, yet another revelation surfaced, hinting at even deeper layers of secrecy. The narrative was no longer just about rumors, texts, or private encounters. It had evolved into a saga of trust, betrayal, and emotional complexity that drew in fans, friends, and family alike. With each new twist, the audience remained glued, eager to see what shocking proof would emerge next, and what consequences would follow, leaving everyone on edge and desperate for answers. The drama intensified when a source close to both Mendeecees Harris and Chrissy Lampkin revealed that there had been multiple secret meetings over the past year, carefully planned and executed to avoid public attention. According to this insider, these meetings were not casual, they were strategic, often occurring in quiet locations, late at night, and away from cameras. The source claimed, they were always whispering, exchanging notes, and sometimes the energy between them was electric. It was impossible not to notice if you were close enough. Fans immediately started piecing together timelines, matching public appearances with alleged private interactions, and the inconsistencies were striking. Tensions among mutual friends reportedly escalated as these revelations became known. Some friends confronted both parties, expressing concern over the secrecy and the potential fallout. "Why risk it all if it's innocent?" one friend allegedly asked Mendeecees, while another pressed Chrissy, demanding clarity. According to witnesses, the conversations were intense, voices raised, accusations flying, and tears exchanged. Emotions ran high, and the situation became increasingly volatile as everyone struggled to navigate the storm. Then, a shocking social media post appeared. A fan account claimed to have discovered messages that were deleted from both parties' phones, hinting at intimate discussions and plans that were far from casual. One message reportedly read, "We have to protect this, no one can know yet," followed by a second that stated, "I don't want to lose what we have." The posts ignited an online frenzy, with fans speculating about the nature of the relationship, questioning motives, and analyzing every word for hidden meaning. Emotions ran high, and the story quickly became the top topic across fan forums and social media platforms. The complexity of the situation became even more apparent as reports emerged about family involvement. Relatives allegedly noticed changes in behavior, secretive phone calls, and odd meeting patterns. Some family members attempted to intervene, pleading for honesty and transparency, while others urged discretion to avoid public scandal. According to an insider, the family was divided. Some wanted the truth, some wanted to protect appearances. It created tension that no one knew how to resolve. The dynamics became even more tangled as loyalty, secrecy, and suspicion collided. Meanwhile, the pressure mounted publicly. Casual interviews, social media interactions, and even promotional appearances were dissected by fans and media alike. Every glance, pause, and phrase became material for speculation. One insider noted, "You could see the stress on their faces." Even small interactions were loaded with meaning because everyone assumed the worst. The scrutiny only amplified the tension, making every public appearance a high-stakes event where missteps could fuel further controversy. And just when it seemed like the story couldn't get more dramatic, yet another twist emerged. A series of leaked videos surfaced, allegedly showing late-night encounters that fans described as suspiciously close. Though blurry and difficult to interpret, the videos suggested that the interactions between Mendeecees and Chrissy went beyond what was publicly acknowledged. Fans erupted with theories, some insisting these proved a secretive bond, others arguing that context was being misinterpreted. The debate escalated, dividing the audience into camps and keeping the scandal alive in unprecedented ways. The emotional stakes were at an all-time high. Mutual friends reported that arguments erupted not only over the allegations but also over how to manage public perception. Whispers turned into confrontations, alliances shifted, and trust was tested repeatedly. According to insiders, it felt like everyone was waiting for the other shoe to drop. The tension was palpable, and nobody knew what would happen next. The private sphere of friendships and family was now fully entangled with the public spectacle, making every decision fraught with potential consequences. As leaks, messages, and videos continued to surface, fans relentlessly analyzed every detail. Timelines were reconstructed, social media posts scrutinized, and public appearances revisited with new eyes. Patterns emerged that seemed too deliberate to ignore, fueling speculation about intent, secrecy, and the possible depth of the connection. The intensity of the fan investigation mirrored the escalating pressure on the individuals involved, creating a feedback loop where every new revelation magnified the stakes and deepened the drama. And as all of this unfolded, it became clear that the story was no longer just about a few private interactions. It had transformed into a multi-layered saga of secrecy, loyalty, and potential betrayal, drawing in friends, family, and fans alike. With each new leak, rumor, and alleged proof, the emotional complexity grew, leaving everyone involved, and the audience watching, on edge, desperate for answers and bracing for the next shocking twist that could change everything. The saga took another unexpected turn when an insider revealed that there had been a hidden network of communications involving both Mendeecees Harris and Chrissy Lampkin, including mutual friends who were allegedly complicit in maintaining secrecy. According to the source, these friends were aware of the intensity of the interactions and often acted as intermediaries, relaying messages and arranging meetings to avoid public exposure. They were like a secret operation, the insider explained. Everything was calculated, every meeting timed perfectly, and everyone involved knew the risks. This revelation added yet another layer to the already convoluted story. Fans speculated endlessly about who could be trusted, analyzing past posts and interactions for signs of collaboration or betrayal. Some claimed that loyalty was being tested to its limits, while others believed the secrecy pointed to something far deeper and more personal than anyone had imagined. Social media exploded with theories, from mundane misunderstandings to dramatic conspiracies, each interpretation more sensational than the last. Meanwhile, family dynamics continued to unravel. Relatives who had previously attempted to mediate reportedly found themselves caught in heated debates, with accusations flying over loyalty, honesty, and responsibility. One family member allegedly said, "We can't just sit by and pretend nothing is happening. People need to know the truth," while another countered, "If we expose this, it could destroy everything." The tension created rifts that had long-term consequences, leaving some relationships permanently strained. Public scrutiny also intensified. Interviews, appearances, and casual social media posts were dissected for hidden meaning. Fans noticed pauses in speech, the way they held themselves, and even subtle glances during group settings. Every detail was interpreted as evidence, and the pressure on both parties grew with each passing day. One insider remarked, "It's like walking on a tightrope. Every move could either calm the storm or ignite it further." The intensity of this scrutiny heightened the emotional stakes, making even simple interactions fraught with tension. Then came another twist, a set of newly surfaced photographs allegedly showing private encounters. These photos, though partially obscured, depicted moments that appeared intimate, from whispered conversations to gestures that seemed loaded with meaning. Fans erupted online, debating the implications and authenticity of the images. Some argued they were clear evidence of a secret connection, while others insisted they could be innocent moments taken out of context. The controversy intensified, dividing audiences and keeping the story alive across multiple platforms. Emotions within the inner circle were reaching a boiling point. Friends and associates reported frequent confrontations, tearful exchanges, and arguments over loyalty and disclosure. The atmosphere was charged, with each conversation potentially igniting further drama. Insiders described a mix of fear, frustration, and anger as everyone struggled to navigate the unfolding situation, unsure of who to trust or what to believe. Just when it seemed the revelations had peaked, another claim surfaced: alleged financial transactions tied to secretive activities. Sources suggested that these transfers, subtle and indirect, hinted at more than casual assistance. Fans immediately speculated on the motives, ranging from cover-ups to logistical support for private meetings. Discussion threads exploded with analysis, accusations, and defenses, further fueling the narrative of intrigue and betrayal. The pressure on Mendeecees and Chrissy reportedly affected even their public personas. Social media updates became calculated, interviews cautious, and public appearances guarded. Sources said that even minor interactions were loaded with tension, as friends and family scrutinized every detail. The weight of secrecy, speculation, and emotional strain was omnipresent, creating a high-stakes environment where every move had consequences. And as leaks, photos, messages, and financial claims continued to emerge, fans remained captivated. Each revelation layered additional complexity onto the narrative, deepening the mystery and heightening the stakes. Relationships were tested, trust was questioned, and the saga expanded beyond private circles into a spectacle that enthralled audiences. With each new development, the story became harder to predict, leaving everyone watching, friends, family, and fans, on edge, eager for the next shocking disclosure that could redefine everything. And just when you thought the storm had settled, the latest developments have proven that the saga between Mendeecees and Chrissy Lampkin is far from over. Whispers of new evidence, unexpected encounters, and shocking messages continue to surface, keeping fans glued to every detail. The tension remains palpable, the alliances fragile, and the questions unanswered. Who knew so much and kept it hidden? What really happened behind closed doors? And perhaps most importantly, what will the fallout look like once everything finally comes to light? The family is still divided, emotions are raw, and the ripple effect of this drama is being felt far and wide. Every glance, every word, and every action is being scrutinized, fueling speculation and debate across social media and fan communities. The story has captured attention because it is relatable, unpredictable, and profoundly human, showing just how secrecy, loyalty, and betrayal can intertwine in ways that leave everyone affected. Now it's your turn. What do you think is really going on between Mendeecees and Chrissy? Are they innocent victims of a misinterpreted connection, or is there a secret that's yet to be fully exposed? Share your thoughts in the comments, let us know your theories, and make sure to like this video if you're as shocked as everyone else. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because as long as this story continues to unravel, we'll be here bringing you every shocking detail as it breaks. Stay tuned, because the next revelation could change everything, and you won't want to miss a single moment of this explosive drama.